This ornate mansion looks like something out of Victorian England, but it's the paranormal activity here that's truly haunting. Published by Chelsea Luna in September of 2019, the search for spirits begin in this enormous break room, full of shelves, marble busts, and antique furniture. As Chelsea and James are talking in the room, something is heard walking above them.
It's really beautiful. I think people love to see it. Do you hear that?
Later, James explains his own paranormal experience in one of the rooms.
Except when we first got here in that one place. But you know what's weird? I was walking right over here.
Yes.
You hear the clock ticking?
Yeah.
So like I walked over here and I turned around and like this door was like halfway closed. But I like walked around and I thought maybe there was somebody there and there was somebody talking, but it kind of freaked me out. I'm like, did that door just close?
Yeah.
In a hallway, James again describes an experience he had in which he got a strong whiff of flowers directly in his nostrils just as they stood in front of this portrait of a woman holding flowers.
You probably don't. Maybe it's just me, but I swear to you, all of a sudden I just smell flowers and smell like that's freaking creepy. Like this in this thing, it's like I literally put my nose on flowers and smell like that's freaking creepy.
Chelsea films some of the old wardrobes of the era, which are encased in glass, and later they hear banging coming from either this room or this elevator. Is something paranormal happening here? Or is that just another ghost tour coming through?
What the heck? Did you hear that banging? Are you sure we want to go in that elevator? What the was that?
The next time you shower, don't look up. Published by Tia Bassi in March of 2022, this creepy video shows what could be the hair in your drain come to life. The clip shows a shower curtain pulled to the side, while up in the corner near the ceiling is this extraterrestrial-like critter. It looks spidery, but with even more legs than usual. It somehow also looks like a great pile of tangled hair. What do you think this is? I think it's time to throw the whole house away. Will fish soon walk on land? It looks like one's already there. Published to the oddly terrifying subreddit, Redditor Big Black Onyx writes the cryptic message, "They are evolving." The mysterious video shows a large fish on a slab of snowy ice jutting into the water. The oddly terrifying fish appears to be standing up on its fins, taking in great gulps of air. Many have reacted to the walking fish, which has become the subject of numerous memes, originally appearing in iFunny, posted by user Saika Gamburger in December of 2019. The video has been viewed, liked, and tweeted millions of times, and that's perhaps due to its unnerving nature. Redditor Sci-Fi Ship Controller remarks, "Not sure what is more unsettling, that it stands or that it breathes." There's nothing creepier than when your food moves on its own. Posted to TikTok by Jake M. Tapat, a woman is seen placing several small bowls out on a table for dinner. She notices one of the bowls twisting and sliding around on its own. She picks it up and wipes the bottom, thinking it might be that the bowl is wet. Placing it back, it still seems to twist for a moment. Is this just moisture at play? Or do we have a hungry ghost on our hands? Isn't it awful when the paranormal ruins your 15-minute break? Published by LD Praja in October of 2018. Mysterious activity in a factory in Sukabumi, Indonesia, had one worker running for the hills. The video shows a young man preparing something in the break room. Behind him, a piece of clothing hanging on a cabinet door starts moving on its own. He must have caught it out of the corner of his eye, because he looks over for a moment, but by that time it's still. Next, the chair behind him starts inching backward and around. The clothing starts moving again as well, but the guy doesn't notice. That is, until the chair is thrown backward and clatters on the ground. The man runs off, never to return again. Do you take this ghost bride to be your lawfully wedded wife? I don't. Published by Thiago Ferracao in April of 2022. This ghost hunter encountered a phantom bride that was forcibly married to her husband in this haunted church. This is what happened. As they first enter the church, an unseen force slams the door shut and moves a wooden bench with great force, and then the fun begins. The bride is first seen as they are attempting to communicate with her using a spirit box. Watch the door carefully in the background. A pale figure passes slowly. The pair don't notice it.
Qual era o seu nome?
Later, as they're told to leave, they see the figure face to face. Once they're standing outside the church, the figure is seen standing at the altar. As Thiago walks toward the church doors, they're slammed shut in his face. After watching this scary video, would you say I do? Let me know in the comments. While driving over a long period of time, it wouldn't be unusual to hallucinate a sighting on the side of the road, a deer or a cow perhaps, but might an entire car full of people see the same hallucination at once? While driving in the Philippines, a group including actress Myrtle Sorosa was traveling across what the narrator describes as a far-flung area. They had to take an alternative route from the original, as one was flooded, while another was shut down due to a landslide. After enough road was cleared to cross, they traveled across the mainly deserted, uninhabited area. No street lamps, some trees, but mainly just road. It was after midnight when, out of nowhere, they saw it. What appeared to be a 10-year-old child wearing a bluish-white shirt, crouched in the middle of the road, with his arms and hands covering his face. An uproar can be heard on the video as they pass the figure, and most of the people in the car claim to have seen the boy. They wanted to stop and return, but the area was unsafe, so they decided to watch the dash cam footage to make sure that their eyes weren't deceiving them. The footage showed a white blob-like orb figure appear and then quickly vanish. The driver believed the spirit they saw was of a child who had his life taken by a typhoon. According to one passenger, if he was really just a spirit, I hope he can find rest. If he was really a child, my conscience will forever haunt. This is some of the most convincing footage I've seen in a while. Posted to the Ghosts subreddit by AMRV_5, this poltergeist activity left this resident with more questions than answers. The Redditor explains that she's been living in this apartment with 2 roommates for months, and they've noticed that nothing seems to stay on the walls, from pictures to posters. Due to the home's age, they thought that a lack of insulation and drafts were causing tape and sticky tack not to stay put. After being gifted some original artwork, they put some framed pictures up on the walls with nails, but the very first night, both of the frames fell from the wall. This happened a couple of nights in a row. One night, one of the pictures started moving slightly, so the Redditor broke out her camera and captured this. The video shows the frame moving, just as they'd witnessed before. It happens several times, and then the rolling chair swivels around. No one is near it. The Redditor pleads, "Can anyone tell me what this is? What's going on here?" Well, some in the comments think there must be fishing line involved. Some are suggesting that perhaps an air vent came on. There is in fact a vent up in the corner of the room. Still, others think it could possibly be a paranormal entity. A second video seems to suggest it's the latter. In the video, the Redditor does a vent test to see if the heating cycle is causing any sort of disturbance to the frame. As she's standing there waiting for the heater to come on, a loud disturbance is heard outside her room. She heads over to investigate and finds a boot thrown on a stair below. As she's looking around, Another loud bang is heard from back in her room. When she returns, the frame has fallen from the wall onto her desk. She notes that the air has not come on yet, while Redditors are convinced by the second video. Many are agreeing with then Safety 5971, who writes, "If it's fake, you still got me. What do you think? I can't think of any explanations outside of the paranormal." Published by Dark Ghost Paranormal in August of 2021, Dennis set up cameras in a bunker hidden beneath a school, and this abandoned bunker in Germany has some mysteries up its sleeve. One camera captures a door slowly opening. In another room in the school above, Dennis asks for a sign that someone's here, and this is the response.
Дай мне знак, если надо где-то еще искать.
In the bunker, a blast makes Dennis jump. It sounds like it's coming from this box. Later, the light from his camera shuts off, and he's left in the darkness. Through the spirit box, the spirits tell him it's a trap. Strange carnival-like music seems to be coming from the spirit box. As Dennis's lights continue to malfunction, he has no escape. The door to the room is locked, and he can't get it open. He is in the darkness again with only a lighter to keep him company, while something unknown growls from the shadows. Later, he is told through the spirit box not to come. He finds the previously locked door mysteriously open to him. After racing out of there with his equipment, we can only imagine that he heeded the spirit's advice and never returned, which is a smart call. Some visitors should definitely call ahead. Posted to the Ring subreddit by Ashlyn Bra. This resident had an unexpected visitor at her door around 6 p.m. on Vancouver Island. The Ring camera footage shows an enormous bear sniffing around the front porch of this resident's home. After bypassing the front door, the bear wanders to a side window, looking briefly up at it, as if considering entering this way. The massive animal then makes its way around the side of the garage and out of sight. Many in the comments are saying pass to this one, while Redditor Bubba9999 is wondering why it has a collar on. Was it tagged for wildlife tracking purposes, or does this big bear have an owner? More importantly, is he going to make this a regular thing? The audio of this dashcam video will haunt you. At around noon in October 2014, in Indianapolis, Indiana, a woman was sitting in her car outside an office building with a dash cam recording in process. In the video, a person can be seen walking past her vehicle wearing a strange mask, while the footage only shows one individual. According to the woman, there were 5 of them total out of sight. You can hear the woman laughing as she asks the group where they got their masks, but soon she learns that this isn't a joke as they smash out her windows and rob her. The woman was pulled out of her vehicle by her hair and thrown on the ground by a woman in a face mask and camo jacket. The attacker then took the woman's cell phone and purse. It seems this wasn't the group's first attack of the day. They were also charged with breaking the window of a moving car. Looks like we're not even safe sitting in a parking lot. This home inspector wasn't expecting to find this. Published by Cleveland Marco in July of 2011. The inspector is at this residence and explains that a former resident is said to have passed away in her sleep there and that her ghost remains. As he's explaining that the ghost is said to enjoy walking around and opening doors in the home. A door opposite slams open by itself. This surprises them all.
And she likes to open doors. And she says, well, they say that doors open by themselves. No way!
They try it again. The inspector opens a door, and as he does, the door across the room opens as well.
All right, let's do this again. All right. Here it goes. Open the door.
That is unbelievable.
No.
This happens 3 times. While some are saying it's the air pressure in the room, others are keener on the ghost story. I definitely think something mysterious is going on in this house. Bah humbug. Published by D Dark Past Scary in February of 2022 and originally posted to TikTok by Naoa10 Kinoshita. Something mysterious is happening in this guy's house. He enters the living room where a Christmas tree is set up, lights twinkling, no one is there, but as he turns around the room, an object is thrown from a shelf. When he goes to retrieve it, he finds the phone has been broken. As he turns on the lights and opens the doors, more activity happens behind him, and finally right in front of him. Even as he flees outside, the spirit isn't done with him yet. Does the spirit have no holiday spirit? Or is it the ghost of Christmas past? Driving in the Himalayas can be beautiful, unless you're opposite an angry driver. Published by Extreme Out in July of 2016. This driver was descending the dangerous Rotang Pass from Manali to Leh when he crossed paths with a heavy truck moving in the opposite direction. The driver notes that everyone should be patient in such conditions because impatience can lead to lives lost. They didn't find patience in this truck driver though. The man writes that he dipped his lights on the narrow mountain road to indicate that the truck and car ahead should stop and let him pass if they had a wider road. The truck did not signal back, but the car indicated that there was space to cross and so he should move forward. After moving to the side, the car passes easily, but the truck is taking its time, which is understandable as you can see how bumpy the terrain is. However, it became clear that the truck driver apparently wasn't going to pass at all. After sitting for a moment, the uploader starts to reverse to give the truck a wider berth, and instead the truck drives right at him. He raises his hand for the truck driver to stop and then continues to back up on the dangerous road, which he notes is not easy. Again, instead of passing, the truck is directed at him. The game continues for a time until finally the truck passes. They stopped him to argue, wondering why he acted the way he did. Was it a threat out of spite, or did he really not have room to pass? From this angle, we will never know. Class is still in session at this abandoned school. Published by Scary and Mysterious Stuff in April of 2022, this ghost hunter set out to explore the school, which is said to be haunted by the ghost of a student who is found lifeless there. After entering the school, he hears the haunting before he sees it. A chair squeals across the ground as it's being dragged by something unseen. When the chair slows to a stop, he hears another noise. Going to investigate, he finds a swing set in action, though no one is in the seats. Same goes for a second swing set nearby. As he continues around the playground, he hears another noise. He races back to the school and peers inside the broken screens of the classroom windows. That's when he sees this. Upon entering the room, This upsetting sight scares him enough to leave this place, unlike the ghosts of past students, who it appears have never left. This video shows what happens when two cars team up on the road to rob the living daylights out of fellow drivers. The dash cam video, shot in Bedford View, South Africa, follows two vehicles, one a white Volkswagen van, the other a dark-colored car, collaborating on the road to A, block traffic, and B, take up arms and rob other motorists. Watch closely as the vehicle marked 1 pulls over and 3 armed men jump out to harass the motorist behind them. That is, the one whose dash cam is recording the entire incident. After the thieves presumably collect the money they were after, they shoot off. This is when you can see that the car dubbed 2 has stopped up ahead to block traffic in order for the bandits to weave through with ease. The moral of this story: if you're planning to travel to really anywhere, keep any valuables out of sight and be ever vigilant. When you're on the road, you can never be too careful. Back in 1993, this TikToker's father took a video on a sharp camcorder. She thinks he captured a ghost. Posted on TikTok by Olivia Bishop, the mysterious video shows a child at play while her parents watch.
For all those Gen Zs out there, this is a camcorder. We'd set it up, press record, and go about our day. I don't know why, it was just a 90s thing. And just so you guys know, we've had a ghost in every house that we've lived in, so that's why I found this very intriguing. Go ahead and watch that pumpkin in the left-hand corner, and let me know what you think.
A small plastic pumpkin sits at the end of a slide near the camcorder. After a moment, it rolls across the floor on its own for no discernible reason. Some in the comments note that the baby looks over at the pumpkin at the exact moment, like she senses something is there. Olivia claims to have had a ghost in every house they've lived in. Is this one of them? It appears that's the case. When this early riser arrived at work at 6 a.m., she didn't expect to find her first customer waiting. Posted to TikTok by The Blaze Beauty, the worker exits the kitchen and enters the cafe area, revealing a figure standing just outside the front window. She walks toward it. At first, you can't tell if the figure is facing away from or toward the window, but as she steps closer, it looks like the figure is facing toward it, though you cannot see its face. The figure then slams the window with one gloved hand. What is this thing?
Bro. What? Oh, girl. Oh my.
And what does it even want? Many in the comments are shocked that she even approached. Others think he's harmless and just wants a burger. What do you think? It's the window slam that makes me feel like their intentions are nefarious. Would you be able to sleep after seeing this? Posted to the Paranormal Evidence subreddit by cardiologist Wary 306, this short clip was captured at 2:30 in the morning. The mysterious footage shows a semi-transparent figure walking from one wall of the room into what appears to be a bookcase, where it disappears. The figure looks obscure at first but grows in visibility before completing its vanishing act. The Redditor says that around 3 a.m. they often hear a conversation between a woman and a man in the bathroom. They've seen shadow people in the home, things being thrown across the room, lights have shut off, whispers in the ear. All in all, a heavy atmosphere. The activity is too much to bear. And here's yet more of it. Many in the comments believe it's a spirit manifesting. Do you believe that's the case? Maxime is on a mission to communicate with the spirits in this house. Published by Realized Alterna in April of 2022, and originally published by YouTuber Paranormal Point, this ghost hunter may have made contact with the fiery depths below. As he begins his session at night, something begins to play the piano.
Найди куклу.
A doll is mentioned through the spirit box, and outside this window he sees creepy glowing eyes. When he asks about the doll, he is simply told to find her, and find her he does. He asks what the doll's name is and receives a scary answer. He is told to do a ritual with the doll. As he's told it's dangerous here, he hears strange screams.
Изгнать его нужно.
Снова эти крики.
He later lights the doll ablaze as part of the ritual. As he does, it raises its arm by itself. Is there anything more terrifying than this? Here's hoping the demon was exorcised. This one is terrifying, as the motive of this person is still unknown. It happened on Thornlie Road. The unidentified woman who posted the video said that her and her father were driving when she spotted the strange shape on the road, and as they approached, she noticed the figure was a human body.
It's literally someone on the road. Yes! No, don't do it. It's trying to, no, don't. Lock your doors. Lock your doors!
She knew then that something was wrong. She realized it was not just any human body, but that of a teenage boy. As the vehicle rolled to a halt, the boy in question jumped to his feet and, in a zombie-like stride, approached their vehicle. The woman told her father to drive off. He reversed a bit and then started forward, and the boy approached the woman's window. She said later that had she been alone, she isn't sure how she would have reacted. She believes the boy was hoping to catch someone driving solo so early in the morning, not a pair of people. Somebody could have easily seen him lying there and stopped and got out of the car, and I have no idea what would have happened then, she said. Redditor Purgatory Adventure submitted this to the Chills Narrator subreddit, and they said it's one of the scariest events in Purgatory Adventure's history. The Redditor described the events as the following. We captured footsteps coming down the stairs at us. The ghost hunting team appears to be in an abandoned building of some sort. One team member sits in the middle of a mostly empty room, but keep your eye on the door in the top right. And just like that, clear as day, they hear footsteps coming from the other side of that door, like someone is walking down some stairs.
What the f? That was like in the staircase, man.
Something tells me they're not alone in this place, but the question now is whether it's a ghost or a stranger. Which one do you think it is? Either way, I'd be staying far away from this place.
What the f? That was like in the staircase, man.
Do you want to play a game? Post it to the Ghosts subreddit by responsible@8836. This guard in Mexico often hears noises at night while on watch. He recorded this one while on patrol. While walking the grounds at night, he heads around the building when what looks like a man's head pops out from around the corner. The guard chases it around the corner, but there's nothing there.
Su puta madre! Su puta madre! Su puta madre! Su puta madre!
The Redditor also posted a frame-by-frame video to better see the figure. Many in the comments are clearly surprised. Some point out there are no feet, while others suggest it's a gray extraterrestrial. Still, others say it looks like it's playing a game. Do you want to play? I suggest that guard heads back in the other direction. This entry comes from Texas, where a woman was discovered by Fulshire Police Department, passed out on the center of a dark highway early one Saturday morning. The dashcam footage from Sergeant Scott's car reveals the moment he came across the motionless body lying in the center of the road. The footage shows a vehicle missing the woman by a hair, having to swerve to avoid her. This is when Sergeant Scott springs into action, rolling to a stop in the middle of the road, flashing lights on. Scott races to the woman's side and helps her up. She stumbles to the side of the road. The woman had driven her car into a ditch nearly 200 yards from where she was, Instead of calling for help or flagging down passers-by, she crawled onto the road to take a nap. While it's surprising that no one stopped to help the woman, apart from Sergeant Scott, she should thank her lucky stars that no one ran her over. A security guard is walking up a stairwell on his overnight shift when he hears this. Posted to TikTok, Simon Lockhart shines his flashlight on the floors below and above and can't tell from which direction the footsteps are coming, but then they come running at him.
Oh my, what the what the Bro.
If your heart just jumped into your throat, you're not alone. Some in the comments say they see a face in the door. When he looks up, do you see it? Is this what is chasing him?
Oh my, what the
Whether in the darkness of night or in broad daylight, the open road is one of the most unpredictable places known to man. For instance, watch what happens when an angry mob targeted this driver's vehicle. At around 6 p.m. on a Monday, near Calais, France, while transporting potato chips from Belgium, Mick Young's truck was attacked by a group of livid men whose makeshift camp had been partially demolished. More than a dozen men descended on Young's vehicle, some with concrete, all filled with anger, and the entire encounter was caught on dash cam. The men threw rocks of granite at his window, 2 pieces of which went through his windshield, resulting in €2,500 worth of damage to the truck. Young suffered injuries to his eye and forehead and feared for his life as the attack occurred. This doesn't seem to be the mob's first offense. Young said more driver protection is needed in this area. While the video only shows about a dozen men, Young noted that there were about 30 or 40 out of sight on the hard shoulder of the road. This resident office ghost is unusually helpful. Posted to the paranormal evidence subreddit by Nice Socks Dude, the ghost here opens file and cabinet drawers so that you don't have to. In the video, the bottom drawer of the cabinet slowly opens. When the cameraman pushes it closed, the upper drawer then slowly slides forward. Push closed again. Both drawers slide open on their own. The cameraman pushes them closed again, but they both again open, one after the other. Some in the comments think the load is too heavy. They might be spring-loaded or off balance, or the entire building's foundation has sunk, but at least one Redditor agrees that it's a ghost. Do you think this office is haunted? If that's the case, at least this ghost is helpful. Have you heard of spontaneous combustion? That's one theory about what's happening here. Published in May of 2022, Hassan Barbar is investigating this creepy abandoned structure at night. He turns away for a moment to look into this mysterious empty room without any floorboards. When he turns back, a bag on the floor has caught fire somehow. He watches as the flame smolders and continues to grow.
نار. ايش يعني هيك؟ ايش يعني تحرقني مثلا؟
It burns the bag away until there's little left, but ash by the time Hassan puts it out with a ceramic plank. Now the question is, who or what started the fire? I have a feeling Hassan is not alone in this abandoned building. This urban explorer thinks he's in an abandoned building. Maybe not. Published by Bulgarian channel Peony Studio in December of 2020. The scary video shows the cameraman standing in a stairwell. He hears something above him that sounds like footsteps. He looks up. After a moment, a hooded figure moves into view, just one floor up, blocking the sunlight from a window above. He stands there and they stare at each other for a moment. Then, terrified, the cameraman takes off running. Who is this figure, and what does it want? As it appears for now, we will never know. While exploring an abandoned place, an animalistic growling sets this ghost hunter's nerves on edge. Published by Beshon76, Altamimi in May of 2022, this scary clip reveals that this place is still alive. The growling voice seems to threaten the ghost hunter. The next moment, he captures window shutters opening and closing, and then a toilet lid shutting on its own. But it's this umbrella that's truly creepy. The umbrella is simply sitting on the ground, then the ghost hunter pans his camera around the room and back again. But now the umbrella has moved. He captures it on camera moving again. Is the growling demon causing all of this mayhem? This man had better get out while he still has the chance. When you can command a door to open and close, you may just have the gift. Published by the Scottish Ghost Company. In February of 2022, this investigation of an industrial complex turned super creepy when the investigators' commands were granted. The pair is alone in the warehouse aside from the ghosts. You can hear them communicating via the spirit box in the adjacent hangar throughout the video. The pair approaches a door and asks the spirit to open it if he or she is still with them.
Can you open the door, please, if you're still with us?
In answer, the door slowly swings open. A moment later, when asked to close the door, the spirit acquiesces, slamming the door shut.
Really impressed. Thank you. Thank you.
Many in the comments call this activity mind-blowing and wonder if it's real. Is this a portal to another world? Step on through if you dare.
Can you open the door, please, if you're still with us?
Oh my god.
Is there a ghost at this military base? Posted to the paranormal subreddit by Multi-Frapser. This creepy sound clip was captured in a base for the Finnish Defense Forces. The Redditor explains that the video was cut out of the clip for security reasons, but that it was recorded near a public road at around 10:30 p.m. in January of 2020. Though it's short, he said the sound continued for 45 minutes until 11:15 p.m. The Redditor writes, "During the time I captured this clip, I'd kept watch at one of the checkpoints that led to the military base or garrison." He explains that the noise started to get quieter little by little until it vanished. Another military personnel had heard the same noises the night before around midnight. He also describes the base's surroundings. There is a town about 1.5 kilometers away that turns into a veritable ghost town around this time. There are also a central fire station and rural industries nearby, as well as a railroad track, but only one rail line is scheduled to pass there at a specific time and doesn't make this noise. On the opposite side of the base is a small bay with only motor and sailboats that don't usually operate at this time of day or year. Across from the base is a water tower made of concrete, which is where he thinks the noise may be coming from, though he had never heard this sound before. He describes the surroundings that night as not windy. There are many different theories in the comments as to the source of this noise, with some suggesting it could be the mysterious sky trumpets that have been captured all over the world. Others suggest coronal mass ejections in the ionosphere, which have to do with the aurora borealis. It could also be singing ice, which is a sound effect that happens when frozen soil or rock cracks after water seeps in and freezes. Some also think the rhythmic oscillation sounds mechanical or like breathing, but Redditor Paul JS75 believes that the Redditor might be on the right track with the water tower theory writing. Keep in mind, when draining or filling the thing, there also has to be a way for air to get in or out. A lot of air rushing through a passage is going to make noise. What do you think this is? Do you have any other theories? I think no matter what the cause is, this would be terrifying to hear outside at night while being alone. Castles and forts often have long and frightening histories. This one is no exception. Published by Vault of Fear in April of 2012, a family was visiting this old fort when they captured something spooky on camera. The video shows a full torso shadow figure appearing to climb the stairs into the fort. A split second later, two crows flee from the windows. We can assume disturbed by the apparition. Apparently, this site has experienced paranormal activity for some 4,000 years. Judging by this video, that activity isn't going to end anytime soon. Dennis of Dark Ghost Paranormal is at his breaking point in this scary video. Published in March of 2022, Dennis encounters the most terrible demon in this haunted abode. Dennis conducts an EGF session with a horned skull facing a mirror. It tells him, "You let him out." After asking what he should do, the skull requests a ritual. He's told to burn it and take it to the swamp. Otherwise, the demon will follow him. He is also told that the demon is here. Dennis creeps around the house searching. He doesn't need to look far. Dennis is later dragged across the room by his heel. After regaining his feet, he calmly takes in the entire disaster zone. Then an object under a big draping robe moves toward him. Is this the demon? He'd better get to that ritual. I have a feeling there is worse to come. Well, most of this dashcam footage on this list is completely explanatory and without mystery. This one has people watching and re-watching to try and make out what exactly they are witnessing. In the video, a sheriff's vehicle is traveling along a lonely road in the darkness near Frogtown, with only its headlights guiding the way. The area appears forested, with nothing but trees bordering a dark road. The deputy is talking with a local ride-along named Mary Scott as part of a Citizens Law Enforcement Academy program. They're simply chatting as they drive along, not anticipating anything unusual, until an unusual creature appears out of nowhere. A dark figure dashes across the road and alongside the shoulder.
What was that? Did you see that? Yes.
Caught on dashcam but nearly indiscernible until the video is digitally enhanced. Both Scott and the deputy cry out in surprise as they spot the creature. What was that thing? The figure appeared to be standing on 2 feet, not 4. According to Scott herself, it was really tall and it really looked like the pictures you've seen of Bigfoot. Well, of course, we can't know for sure what this blob is. One thing is clear, It doesn't appear human, nor does it appear animal. What do you think it could be? You're bound to come across strange things in the middle of nowhere. Published in October of 2019, the cameraman sets out into the forest on the outskirts of the city of Perm, and what he finds is that it's occupied. He eventually arrives at this strange structure, plastic sheets topped by wooden planks. When he removes one of the sheets, you see that it leads into an underground hovel of some sort. Deeper into the forest, he encounters another strange structure. This one again is made up of plastic and tarps, but it's been built above ground between two trees. There is a pair of jeans hanging on a limb, a plastic bag hanging from another, and a whole pile of garbage scattered on the ground. He peers inside to find someone sleeping in the shelter. He hurries away but comes across one last structure in his journey. When he peeks in, you can tell that someone lives inside this one too, but there's no one home at this time. One side is covered in branches to camouflage the structure, while items are hung on a line to dry. Obviously, it looks like a small community of people live in this forest, and I'm not sure how friendly they're gonna be to this guy popping in to say hi. You should be afraid of more than bed bugs. Published by Game News TV in July of 2020, this man was sleeping peacefully in bed when all of his curtains began to rustle. Sure, it could be the wind, but then this thing shows up. A fuzzy, semi-transparent figure appears at the side of the bed. A moment later, the man starts tossing and turning wildly. He sits up, clasping his head. Did this figure curse him in some way? This video has left me with more questions than answers. If you're going to cage a phantom, you're going to need a bigger door. Posted by Wokayahoga. This footage shows you can't keep a ghost locked up. The hunters are holding an EMF meter toward a locked set of doors. After a moment, something pounds against the door and then rattles it, trying to get out. I'm not sure what the context of this video is, but one thing's certain, whatever's inside is not staying there. When you look at your reflection, what do you see staring back? Hopefully not this face. Published by Facts Uncharted in February of 2022, this short clip shows what appears to be YouTuber McJuggernuggets looking through a window at pure fright. On the other side is this ghoulish horror face, staring back at him with glowing eyes. He calls his team into the room, and they both look completely creeped out as they see it too. Is this a collective nightmare? When will we wake up? Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Purgatory Adventures. This redditor wrote, "Check out this crazy scream we captured while spending the night in a haunted location in Saskatchewan, Canada." Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about.
Yep. Kick it again. Yeah, I can see the lights.
See the lights, Kate?
You're gonna sit there? You wanna sit there?
There was certainly some debate about this video in the comments. Lady Mania wrote, "I barely hear a scream. I only hear regular noises and the two people talking." Well, Corn TJE wrote, "Sounds like a cat in my opinion. Did you hear the scream the uploader is talking about? If so, what do you think is causing it? Let me know in the comments." Vorkuta was a coal mining settlement during the Soviet era. It has since become a semi-deserted wasteland. Published by Vagabond, this adventure seeker went to check out the ghost town at the end of the world.
Here is roughly more than 200 people. On the background of such amount of abandoned buildings, an active mine looks surrealist.
Traveling there by train, the only accessible means of transport to the area, he encounters the first steam engine that ever appeared in the area in 1944. The once thriving city was served by 13 coal mines in its heyday, where workers received a good salary and twice the pay they might back home due to the added northern coefficient pay. Directly across from clean bright offices are empty derelict buildings. Other empty structures are topped with massive piles of snow. Atop an enormous 9-story building is a phrase that translates to "Glory to the conquerors of Arctic territories." Vagabond also takes in the coal miners' quarters, located on the Vorkuta River embankment. Would you be able to live in this half-abandoned Arctic town? You'd better learn to love the cold. There's some terror to be had in this abandoned structure. Published by Terror Al Extremo, this paranormal explorer first encounters these creepy bats hanging upside down like untransformed vampires. The ambiance is set now, and it grows as the cameraman comes across this piece of artwork painted on a stone wall. Is this divining what will come? When he continues to explore the area, suddenly he hears a scream. This is accompanied by what sounds like a blast or some other loud noise. Who is screaming out in this remote wilderness? And what was the sound that followed? Which one of us volunteers to wait around and find out? This man thought he'd get away with it, but he was sorely mistaken. Published by Ritualistic in July of 2019. The suspect is seen crossing a quiet road at night in June of 2019 at around 3 in the morning. As the vehicle approaches, he hurries across the road and hides under the front end of a parked truck in a driveway. After the vehicle passes, the dude rolls from under the truck and puts his hood on. He then tries to enter the truck because the door is unlocked. But before he can snatch any valuables, the car alarm goes off, undoubtedly waking up the whole neighborhood. And the would-be burglar flees across the street. I think we can all agree this attempt failed miserably. Who would win in a swamp fight, a deer or an alligator? You're about to see. Published by Hazy Season in June of 2019. This scary video was captured at Squaw Creek Reservoir in Glen Rose, Texas. At first, the fisherman thinks he's looking at a huge fish.
Look at those. What is that? Is that a dead fish?
But as he gets closer, he realizes it's a deer in the water. The deer is no longer alive, and it's being pulled down into the water's depths.
Looks like a deer, dude. It's a dead deer. Holy
by something that is so far unseen. The crew is wondering what's gotten hold of it. They watch for a moment and soon realize a gator's got him. They then let nature take its course.
Dude, what happened? Did it just like fall down this hill? Holy.
Although we probably all could have guessed that the gator would win this battle, I'm sure we were all rooting for the underdog. It's said that on this battlefield, the ghosts of soldiers still roam. Published by Dark 3 in July of 2019, a man is exploring a region where hostilities took many lives. The tree-heavy area features a couple of towers and a brick wall, dividing them. Despite the rather average-looking landscape, the cameraman says strange things are often observed here. After zooming in on the tower, the camera scans the tower from the top to the ground, which is covered by brush and trees. It is behind one of these trees that he captures a glimpse of a strange creature. It's hard to tell what this is. It looks hauntingly like an unearthly figure crouched down almost out of view. Its coloring does not blend with its surroundings, making me think there's a good chance this could be CGI, and that appears this is the case. So I guess that explains what this thing is doing here, because it certainly doesn't look of this world. How does it feel to be caught in a mudslide? One California Highway Patrol dash cam has the answer. This patrol vehicle's dash cam managed to capture the Montecito mudslide prior to its arrival on the freeway. At the time, the officers were responding to reports of a structure fire in the area in the morning of January 9th. This was before reports were made of the mudslide.
Mike, get in the car! Mike, get in the car! Get in the car, Mike! Get in the car! Get in the car!
As a result, the patrol vehicle slammed straight into the mud flow on Olive Mill Road, where it was lifted slightly from the road, its wheels spinning. The mud flow took the vehicle on a 180-degree whirlwind before it was able to regain traction. After being taken along with the flow for a while, they were eventually able to get ahead of it. The officer stopped only to shout at a pedestrian to get out of here. Then they called in the incident and inspected their vehicle at Coast Village Road, but the mudslide soon caught up with them and sent them packing again, demonstrating how quickly this sludge moves and how unexpectedly it may appear. Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Ding Dong Dingle Dude, this redditor wrote, "My friend and I saw this weird floating structure in the sky. Has anyone else seen something like this before? Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about."
What the dude, that's just floating up there in this sky. What the What the fuck? It flashed. Oh my, what? Dude, are you recording?
There was certainly some debate about this video in the comments. Mountain Aviator 1 wrote, "That is the mysterious radio tower. It's obstructed by clouds. Well, the Triple B thinks it's a weather balloon. What do you think this object is? Let me know in the comments. What if you heard this sound outside your home?" Posted to TikTok by Pablo Riviero 702, this scream sounds like chills made audible. Happening outside the door of what appears to be a trailer, the scream is followed by dramatic banging on the door.
De soberbio está sucediendo en este momento, así que no sé qué.
Whatever's outside starts shaking the trailer. It sounds like it's banging on every window, but you cannot see what's outside in the darkness. In a second video, you can hear even more terrifying sounds right outside. It honestly sounds like a demon. It continues to bang on the trailer. Would you answer the door? Come on, fellow adult, you can handle it. What do you see around this corner? Published by Arte Morbid and originally posted on TikTok by Haunted Wesley E. Manor. This short clip is just one more proof that the manor is truly haunted. In a very dusty chamber of the castle, watch the corner of the arched doorway closely. What appears to be the figure of a small boy with glowing eyes peeks out for a moment before pulling back behind the barricade. He seems to be hiding. Is this a ghost or some small kid playing tricks in the castle? Most in the comments think it doesn't look human and call it very creepy. What do you think? I think we are going to be left with more questions than answers for the time being. Is there someone hiding out of sight in this wreckage? Published by PH Red Fox, Yoon Sai-won is exploring an abandoned house in Korea when he hears this sound.
안녕하세요.
Is it an animal? A dog? He breaks out his EMF meter, which starts going haywire. He says it's not useful here because they're at the location's deepest point.
이제는 무의미. 여기 가장 깊숙한 데 와버려가지고.
Using facial recognition software, a scary face is recognized where there seems to be no one. It's recognized again, closer to him this time. Later, while using a spirit box, Saiwan gets the fright of his life. A bang is heard coming from someone unseen. A short while later, he is visited again by the spirit. But he sees nothing, and no one amongst the mess. Is Saiwan being stalked? And if so, by what? It is said that evil resides here. This paranormal explorer is about to greet it. Ricky Velasquez seems to sense this reputed evil early on. He then senses this hiding under a bench. While outside the structure, he hears a hushed whining or whimpering. Shortly after, he hears what sounds like a bottle being kicked. Back inside, he senses something in his presence again, and then on an upper floor, this unexplained sound. Is evil still lingering? Ricky isn't the only one who can feel it. This unbelievable capture occurred on a rural road in the middle of the night. Published by Scary Desk in September of 2021, a crew was driving to an unknown location when this happened. The semi-transparent figure appears to fall directly from the sky. It stays in place for a moment before shortly vanishing. Is this a phantom, CGI, or do you have another theory? I guess this just goes to show you never know what you're gonna see when you look up at the sky. It's every thrill seeker's worst nightmare. Published by Robbie8984 in January of 2012, this pair was strapped into an amusement park ride in Alton, Illinois, ready for the thrill of their lives when the belt snapped on one of their seats. As the ride takes off, the woman starts to panic when she sees her harness come unstrapped. Luckily, the harness doesn't seem to be necessary as the primary lock keeps her securely in place. Many in the comments say these belts are just fail-safe to give riders a sense of security. Either way, imagine seeing your sense of security come undone in the middle of being tossed through the air by a roller coaster. I thought all dogs go to heaven. Published by Awkwardly Quiet Gamers in April of 2018. This security footage shows a dark but busy sidewalk at around 2 in the morning. A woman is seen standing to the left. A dog or cat comes into view on the right, as does another lady. They both pass by in the night. That's when the ghost dog comes into frame. Unlike the last animal's starker image, this one is slightly blurred and transparent. It runs along the sidewalk and then disappears out of sight. Meanwhile, the lady is making strange moves along the sidewalk. What is going on here? Is this ghost dog playing one last game of fetch with its owner? I hope that's the case. This poltergeist is throwing a tantrum. Published by Derek Hull in February of 2021, the angsty geist is first seen slamming a door in the cameraman's face. Exhilarated that he caught it on camera, the man races to the door and opens it, finding no one inside.
Yes, I caught it! What the heck?
He runs back through, asking the poltergeist to repeat the action, but the door remains open. One of the crew enters the room while the others stand outside, watching the door. They approach and the door closes again. It isn't clear if the other crew member was inside the room, as there was a cut in the video. It doesn't seem like he exited. They apologize for angering the poltergeist and say they will leave.
Alright, I'm gonna open the door and that's it, we're gonna leave, okay? Sorry for off.
But that's not without one last slam, this time coming from some shutters off to the right, I assume.
Home time?
Oh, there's two pebbles right there by the bucket to the left of it.
Is this spirit moving around them? Or is it all-encompassing? While exploring an abandoned place, this paranormal crew found a demonic doll. What followed next was shocking. Published by Toppy in December of 2021, Sergey takes this rickety staircase into the attic where he finds this creepy doll. After handing the doll to Nastya, they decide to take it with them. Sergey says they sat in the haunted home for 15 minutes and heard noises that were unfortunately not recorded. It's unclear if their cameras malfunctioned or what went on, but they have decided to try and communicate with the spirits through the doll. After the doll tells them let's play, the pair decide to pack it up and head home. But before they do, this happens. Is this doll truly possessed, or was it just exorcised of its demons? When police officers stopped to assist a car that had broken down on the side of Southeast Loop 820 in Forest Hill, Texas, they probably weren't thinking this was a super risky call, but they'd be wrong, as the 3 police officers and 2 motorists awaited a tow truck, lights flashing. A vehicle sped at top speed towards them, completely out of control, and they nearly didn't notice until it was too late. You can see in the video that the group is oblivious to what is about to happen until one officer spots the vehicle flying in their direction, just in time to throw the group out of harm's way. The car sideswiped one police car, slammed head-on into another, and barely avoided the broken down vehicle and all the people milling around on the shoulder. After plowing through, the rogue vehicle ricocheted back into traffic, but then returned to the roadside, where it screeched to a halt. When the car stopped, police hurried to remove the driver. Unsurprisingly, 26-year-old motorist Cedric Keith Henson Jr. had been drinking and was detained at the scene. Although no one was hurt, they very well could have been. SS3 Paranormal was editing on her computer when she heard a noise. She didn't notice what happened until after she rewatched this video. Published by SS3 Paranormal in February of 2022. You're about to see what happens. Watch closely behind her.
Who's that?
At this point, you hear what she heard. The YouTuber notes that it was a red car that somehow managed to roll itself off the shelf. Do you see it? Just another of the many things they tried to keep secret. This house guest is eternal. Published by Jojo Owens in February of 2022. Jojo explains that he, his wife, and several guests in his home had witnessed a shadow-like movement in the living room out of the corner of their eyes. That's why when Owens heard a noise in the back room one night while his wife was sleeping, he set up his phone camera to record. This is what he captured. A tall, shadowy figure is seen moving across the lit doorway at the end of the room. After witnessing this, Owens grabbed his phone camera to investigate, but turned up nothing. Neither was there anything in the room that might cast this shadow. Although one commenter suggested that there may be someone squatting in the Owens home, Owens said this has been going on for 3 years, so it's highly unlikely. To whom does this shadow belong then? What presence is roaming around Donna Mary's house?